Oh yeah, I'm talking to this, not that, right? So welcome to Austin Books and Comics in beautiful Austin, Texas. And otherwise it would be named like Dallas Books and Comics or something. Peoria Books and Comics, perhaps. Who will one day see this online and be like, oh my God, sweet, I would have been there.
Name dropped him.
So we're here celebrating the Staple, what do you call Staple show?
Staple Independent Media Expo, the Southwest premier indie comics, arts, crafts, zines convention.
And this is Chris Nicholas, who runs the show, and also creator of a number of comics and graphic novels done indie staple style. Right, the name comes from folding your comic or your piece of paper sideways, putting some staples in there, and boom, now you got a comic book.
That's right.
I'm Paul Benjamin. I have written a lot of comic books and graphic novels and video games. Characters like Spider-Man, Hulk, Wolverine. So we are here tonight celebrating the birthday of Will Eisner. And we're going to walk around sort of man in the street style, talking to people to find out how Will Eisner influenced them, either as fans or as comic book creators or both. So I guess I'm going to start us out here. Oh, have you seen the cake? Isn't that great? Who made the cake, Chris?
Our friend Kayla Cromer made the decorations for the cake. She's famous for having made the hamburger bed and the Millennium Falcon bed. Very talented young lady. We're happy to celebrate Will Eisner's birthday, which coincided with the pre-party for Staple, which starts tomorrow. And particularly because Will Eisner is sort of the father of modern comics in a lot of ways. Just the way he broke ground and changed the medium, just opened it up in the kind of stories you could tell with comics and the ways you could use the medium in different and innovative modes.
For me, Will Eisner was a big influence because I know it's hard to believe, but I'm Jewish.
You are.
And I work in the comic book business, right? And obviously one of the great statesmen of early comics and even later comics, and one of the inspirations for so many people. But for me, it was so amazing to see Jewish characters who were just everyday people portrayed in graphic novels, and also to see the book The Plot, about the so-called protocols of the Elders of Zion, a big sort of piece of anti-Semitic literature that is still alive today. And he went in and said, I'm going to use a graphic novel to debunk this false story about how Jews are controlling the media and the banks, et cetera, et cetera. Let me tell you, if I controlled the media, I mean, I can tell you who'd be writing the X-Men right now, right? So, yeah, huge influence, and also his book on making comics was a huge influence in helping me learn how to make comics and do it well. So we're going to walk around tonight, and we're going to talk to some folks and hear their thoughts on Mr. Will Eisner. So thank you for watching, and it's going to be a great show. All right, Jeff, why don't you, I know you just came here to get cake.
No, and so much more.
Actually, let me get you to introduce yourself, talk about your work, your fandom, Will Eisner, etc.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jeff Sebesta. I'm publisher of Rock Salt Magazine. I do a bunch of comics around here, and I actually met Will Eisner once, which was very brief. Very brief. George Purdy and I were at San Diego Comic Con, and George walked up and said, can I do an interview? Or would you like to ask, can we ask you some questions? And he said, no, I'm too busy, and he walked away. But I met him. He died later that year. So I'm very familiar with his work. Obviously, he's the foundation of the theoretical school of comics. Scott McCloud makes it pretty clear that comics and sequential art is where he's getting so much of his stuff from. I find his legacy problematic in a lot of ways because wiser heads than mine would have to explain how Ebony Black isn't incredibly racist. And there's a lot of stuff in the spirit that's goofy and messed up. And I have sympathy for it because he's from the same time and same place as my grandparents. He grew up Jewish in New York City. I look at his stuff and I see my grandfather, both in good ways and bad ways. I understand that he was very sincere and working very hard, and he was expressing the way things were at the time. But until you get to his later work, I gotta admit, there's not that much that really grabs me except for his typography and his lettering, which are astounding. I mean, obviously he's the person that revolutionized that. And obviously his contributions to the business were enormous. But his work itself isn't exactly what appeals to me until you get to the later stuff like Dropsy Avenue and the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, that was a good book. That was a worthy book. All his projects towards the end of his life, he seems to have picked projects that were worth doing. I feel like he bet on the wrong horse with Frank Miller, and that cost us all a little bit because he quite consciously passed the crown to someone who is insane. But in all other ways, he was a good guy. He did his best. He was a smart guy. He created the foundation and the groundwork that we all build on today. And if he had problems, the industry had problems. I mean, it's really hard to read stuff from the 40s and the 50s, as I'm sure you know, without going like, and he was part of that. But towards the end of his life, he became honestly fascinating. He used his skills well.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, a different era.
Yeah, very much so.
And it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is Paul Benjamin.
Hi.
He's a good friend of mine.
Hi, Babs.
you.
Very nice to meet you.
And he writes comics.
Hold that up higher so I look better.
Yeah, actually, if you could only get me from like here to actually my good shoulder.
But if this is just like this, then that's good.
So Randy and I are indeed very old and good friends.
Okay.
And we will talk more at the show.
All right.
But right now, we are doing a little video for Will Eisner's birthday.
Oh my God.
So,
Awesome.
but let's start with you introducing yourself and what you do.
Okay. I'm Babs Tarr, and I draw Batgirl for DC Comics. And I'm fairly new. I just started it like 6 months ago. So I'm not super familiar with everybody, hence why he must be dead, and I did not know that earlier. And you were trying to make me look good. Sorry, I didn't know. But I know the Eisner Wars are named after him, so he must be super big deal. And I'm the worst.
Okay. All right. No, this is great. So you are just starting out in the business, and you have not immersed yourself
I'm
in the world of
trying,
comics.
but I was gonna say, it seems like I saw the cake and I recognized that type of art. It looks very Kirby-esque too.
Mm-hmm.
Did they influence each other?
Absolutely. They're contemporaries.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, very much so.
Awesome.
And
Learning so much tonight.
I'm going to say comics and sequential art is a must-have for any comic book creator.
Okay. I will pick that up.
You might read it and go, "Hey, I already know all this because I'm making comics."
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm still learning how to do sequential stuff, so I'll definitely pick up anything. Someone had suggested learning to draw the Marvel way.
Yeah.
Don't
absolutely.
tell DC that I bought learning how to draw the Marvel way.
I think there are a lot of things that apply to either publisher.
Yeah.
This is really cool. I'm excited. We're going to talk more over the weekend because I want to hear.
Teach me all about it.
Everything that you don't already know.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Babs. Can I interrupt you all for a minute? Sure. Here in front of our good buddy Bruce. So I'm Paul Benjamin. I am a local comic book writer and video games as well. And we're doing a little man on the street interview thing for Will Eisner's birthday. Did you know that today is Will Eisner's birthday?
I heard about it.
Yeah, right?
I saw the cake.
Hence
too.
the cake. So what I would love to do is get each of y'all to introduce yourselves.
Okay, well, I'm Brooke Allen, and what was it? How do I know Will Eisner?
How
How do I feel about him?
anything about Will Eisner? Maybe he's the worst creator you've ever seen.
No, I wouldn't
and
say
you
that.
hate the spirit and you burned it in your basement.
The opposite.
For heat.
The opposite of those things. Actually, one of the first graphic novels I ever bought was The Contract with God, the big, yeah. And his style and Walt Kelly's, I would say, is probably one of the biggest influences on me. So he's important. Yeah.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Grace Ellis.
And what do you do, Grace?
I work on Lumberjanes. This is really distracting, funny to lean on.
By the way, Hulk, not a Will Eisner character.
Are we sure?
Pretty sure.
I'm trying to think my earliest introduction to Will Eisner. I live in Columbus, and Ohio State's campus has the Billy Ireland Cartoon Library. And when I like started doing Lumberjane stuff, I was like, oh man, I should probably bone up on like my history and like figure out how all of this fits in. And I think that's where I like first saw some of his stuff, and I was like, wow, this is really intense and like definitely like the granddaddy of it all. So I think that like that was like kind of overwhelming for me. And like that's where it came from for me. Like that was my first introduction to him. Like reading some of his stuff since then, not a lot of it, but like some of it. Yeah.
Oh, I draw Lumberjanes mostly. That's what I do. She writes it.
Yeah, I'm Grace Ellis. I'm one of the writers on Lumberjanes and one of the creators.
Awesome.
Do you want to go since you're?
I don't know who Will Eisner is.
Don't tell her.
No idea.
No idea.
Don't tell her.
Nope.
No.
See, is he the guy that made Mickey Mouse?
Batman.
That sounds.
Batman. Was it Batman?
I think so. That sounds
Okay.
right to me.
Batman, yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Batman's really
He made
cool.
a good Batman.
Yeah. That was like the best.
How old
We're all.
Y'all are awesome, and I'm spending the whole weekend at your table.
That's all.
Like I'm abandoning my table and just coming to hang out with you guys.
You're gonna be on this too.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Everyone read more Batman. Okay.
Happy birthday, Batman.
Happy birthday.
Let's talk to Randy Lander. Randy Lander, comic book shop owner. Come tell us about Will Eisner. Actually, introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, I'm Randy Lander. I own Rogues Gallery Comics and Games up in Round Rock. And it's weird. I'm an Eisner fan in that I love Will Eisner. I know the influence on the medium, but I don't know that I own any like super cool Eisner hardcovers or anything. Like I recognize his influence, but I don't have a lot of the spirit and that kind of thing. I've seen secondhand. Like I love Darwin Cook's Spirit series, and I love a lot of people who are influenced by Eisner. But I've not seen a lot of. I couldn't tell you like my favorite Eisner moment or anything like that. It's definitely a thing where I recognize him, but I don't know him as well as I know the guys I grew up in the 80s and that kind of thing.
Hey, so here's something cool. Randy and I are going to be doing a podcast. You know what it's going to be? We're going to be recording our process of, as far as I knew, making a comic. But Randy has no plans to make a comic, so
Right. No,
maybe
you're the guy who makes all
not.
the comics. I'm just going to throw ideas and suggest werewolves.
All right, we're going to be making a thing about werewolves, apparently. Because, you know, Will Eisner loved him some werewolves.
Oh, okay. So my name is Kayla Cromer, and I love comics. I got into them about maybe 10 years ago. A friend of mine handed me Girls, and I was like, I get this. I understand the appeal of comic books now, and I've been reading them ever since. I loved Bone, things like that. And then for Staple, I did the Will Eisner cake of the Spirit. I did a time lapse video of the making of the piece.
I very much look forward to enjoying your work. I don't know how to say this without it sounding gross, so never mind. I look forward to eating the cake that you made that looks really good.
There we go. Perfect. Sounds good.
Hold on, slippery slope. I am walking right towards it. All right, are you ready? Nick,
Reading cool stuff.
I'm about to put you on the spot.
Spot me.
And anybody else who wants to be part of this video, we are doing a video for Will Eisner's birthday tonight. So if you would like to tell me any of your favorite Will Eisner books or any influence Will Eisner has had on your career, tell us a little bit about your art. Or, you know, people who were influenced by Will Eisner who influenced you.
No, I have a really good Will Eisner story. So it was me and him in this motel. I was really young, really impressionable.
All right, so over here we've got a...
No, I like my very first San Diego.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Nick Darrington. I draw stuff, and so yeah, my first San Diego. I think it was maybe like 2003, 2001, somewhere around there, and I was like, it was kind of like this one moment. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to San Diego, and this is this thing that you like as a geek growing up, you're always like pumped about, and so I finally went, and I got to got to meet Eric Larson and all these cool guys, and got to meet Mike Allred, like a superhero, and then well, then there's the line to meet Will Eisner it was like right when the DC was putting out the hardcovers of the Complete Spirit collection, and I had done like a one-page comic that was like kind of showing people stuff, and stood in my line, and I sat and I scrunched down and like, okay, I draw comics. This is my thing. Tell me to fuck off. And he was like, he went into like editor mode instantly. He's like, all right. Starts checking stuff out, reads it, and he's like, okay. And he starts like just dishing out advice, and he's like, was way into this, and he totally got what I was trying to achieve with this one single page comic, and like gave me things to walk off with and advice, and like it's like 100% more than you'd ever expect from like a guy who's been doing this for like 70 years, you know. You think it'd be like, yeah, and I think I'd be giving it to like other people are like, thank you, okay, and next. I mean, he was like the coolest guy ever to that day, and yeah, he's A1 number in my book.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I am jealous. I never got to meet him. I went to a lot of comics conventions, but never got the chance. So that's awesome.
He's such a cool enigmatic figure too, because like, you know, as like, if you get deep into the comic game, you know how cool the Spirit is, and all the different messages from space and all the cool stuff he did. But it's still like it's under the radar, you know. They'll never be mainstream hits. So you have to like really care in order to find the stuff and also to be able to appreciate it, because it's also a material of its time too. So yeah, it's a little secret thing that we get to share in the inner circle in a funny way.
Hi, how's it going?
How are you, man?
Good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing very well.
So we're doing a video shoot for Will Eisner's birthday.
Yeah.
And do you guys have anything you want to say about like influences or as a fan? So introduce yourself. Talk about what you do. And about Will Eisner.
Well, my name's Nathan Bliss, indie artist. I have a table this year, my first year having a table at Staple. But as far as Will Eisner, I've hugely influenced by him, but I got to meet Will Eisner. I went to school at the Savannah College of Art and Design, graduated in 99, and I think it was 97 or 98, where Will came, and he was one of the every year they do this comics art forum where they invite all sorts of professionals and editors and writers and stuff to talk and do lectures and teach classes and stuff. And Will came one year, and everyone was falling over themselves to get like, you know, into his workshops. And I was like, I think I was a junior or a sophomore, but I took my meager portfolio. I didn't really know what he was going to do. And his class was kind of an outline of comics and sequential art, his how-to book. He did like 5 or 6 how-to books, but this is like his first one. And he kind of did some outlines of that. And he was kind of done after 40 minutes. And he's like, well, does anyone have artwork they want? And like an entire class of hungry young comic professionals, hungry young comic artists, all picked up their portfolio. And everyone and it was in a classroom full of drafting tables, so everyone laid out their stuff. And we're all just kind of like following Will around the room as he's kind of like looking at art and so it came to the end where he's kind of like, he talked a little bit about each person's stuff, and he picked up 5 or 6 pages from 2 students. Like one student had all these incredibly lush drawings of like, you know, amazing like landscapes, and the draftsmanship was impeccable and it just looked amazing, you know. And then he picked up my comics, which, like, my backgrounds were not that good. My line quality was horrible, you know, but I put a lot of like energy and life into it and stuff, and it was very kind of cartoony, but you know, and an artist always self-depreciates their own stuff. But Will took my stuff and he took this guy's stuff, and he started talking, and he basically pointed out that, like, you know, like, well, you know, and he basically pointed out, like, you know, this like, he pointed to the guy who's a good draftsman, and basically said, like, well, this is very good, but I don't really see a lot of life. But if I was going to put something in a book, and he pointed to my stuff, and it's like, I would look to this one, and I'm like, like inside, I'm like,
your head just exploded.
Oh yeah, and I was probably even less articulate than I am now. But it was like a lightning bolt, and it was just like, I'm gonna keep going, you know. And I got better at my backgrounds, and I got better with my line quality, and you know, I'm still plugging away at it. I'm still trying to get better, but but that was the thing that was like, all right, just don't listen to the little voice in your head of like, oh, well, I'm not that good here, not good there. Just keep going.
So I think it's pretty incredible. When I was an editor for Humanoids Publishing, I gave a lot of portfolio reviews. And over the years, I can't think of anybody who took my advice, and it was kind of the same advice for everybody, right? Who took my advice, went out, did all of those things, then became a professional comic book creator, as far as I know. I remember one person who ended up doing it at a convention years later. But Nick Darrington, who's here tonight, and you, two people, both professional comic book creators, both of you met Will Eisner and had him review your work and got great advice.
It was pretty incredible. It was, and I really don't have. I mean, it was like in the moment, I was just so like, oh my God, just quaking, but how often do you get to meet someone who is like defined in art form, It was, I'll never forget it, and it's awesome that we're all paying tribute to Will tonight, Did you see the cake?
I did. We interviewed the person who made the cake.
Oh,
in fact.
yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool.
Hey guys.
Hello.
I hope I'm not interrupting, but I kind of don't care.
We're talking about losing weight.
Awesome. I wanted to talk about that. I've been trying for years.
Yeah, shut up.
So here's what you do. Drink a whole bun, and then stop drinking.
Okay. All right. So first rule, start drinking a whole lot.
Yes.
So we're doing a video tonight to celebrate Will Eisner's birthday. And I wanted to talk to a couple of comic book creators about whether or not you are fans of Will Eisner or people who were inspired by Will Eisner and any influence Will might have had on your work. So are you guys up for that?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay, so introduce yourselves. Let me come around here. We'll start here. Just give a quick introduction, and then, what your work is, and then tell me about Will.
My name's Tim Doyle. I run Nakatomi. It's an online poster collective. We do silkscreen prints and comics and stuff, T-shirts. When I was a kid, the middle school library had a copy of Contract with God, and I read that, and it was kind of life-changing because it was a comic without any superheroes in it, which was rare for me at the time. And just spirit collections and stuff like that. Will Eisner is great because it ends up in like libraries all over the country, so a lot of kids get exposed to that when they're really just looking for Spider-Man. At least that was the way when I was a kid in the 80s, early 90s. I have no idea what it's like now. Do they have libraries still?
So I don't know. It's a good question. I've never been in a library, so I'm not sure. I have a question. Did you know at the time, and I don't know if the cover had the same lettering then, that the Contract with God, the art style of the lettering was made to look like Hebrew? Because as a Jew, I knew the second I saw it. But was that like obvious to you? Did you know that?
No, at the time, no. White, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant. I didn't know that at the time. It is very evident now as an adult. Did you notice that the Batmanga logo, each letter in the Batmanga logo has little bat ears like Batman?
I did not notice that.
Check it out. It's a really good design. I mean, it's this design and integration of text into the art is it's beautiful. It's great stuff. Undeniably amazing.
Cool, thank you.
No
I'm
problem.
gonna hop around this side now.
I'm gonna run away.
See, he's running away again. Secret to weight loss, right? He's not just gonna walk away. He is running.
I'm Kristen Hogan. I do Squid Friends, plush sea creatures. So I went to Savannah College of Art and Design, that's where I graduated from, and Will Eisner came down for the thing called Comics Art Forum that we did every year, and we got some really amazing names. I don't know what book he was working on at the time because I kept thinking it was Contract with God, but I look at the dates and that doesn't make sense, so it must have been the one after. But he was talking about, I'm working on this book right now and I really hope I finish it before I die. And I was like, oh God, don't die now. But I got to this workshop with him and he was just, you're standing there with like the grandfather of comics right there. So just to meet him and just be in his presence was really awesome, and I just need to catch up on more of his actual work. Contract with God is on my shelf, and I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, I think Will Eisner is one of those creators whose work kind of ends up on your shelf for a while, and you're like, one of these days I'm going to get to that.
Yeah.
Right after I read all the people who he influenced.
A lot of it is I'm working on my own stuff. I'm like, I can't read and sew at the same time when I don't have a show to do, but he was just a really, really nice guy. Just totally cool.
That's awesome. That's always the best thing. Like, they say never meet your heroes, but I feel like in comics, I mean, I've gotten to meet a lot of my heroes, and, like, they're always awesome, and that's really cool.
Yeah, no, I haven't met anyone in the comics field yet that I was like, jeez, sorry I met you. Everyone else has been awesome.
I'm glad to hear that, because I'm usually a real jerk to you.
Oh, wait, you're totally...
All right, thank you very much, and I'll see you around at the show. Chris, I think we can wrap it up here. We've made a full circuit of the store.
Well, we're going to start gathering people up here to sing happy birthday to Will and cut this cake. So we'll be right back.
All right, this is enough, people.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to the Stable Pre-Party. Thank you for coming. As you probably are aware by now, it's also Will Eisner's birthday, and we're celebrating that with this beautiful cake. But before I cut it, we must sing happy birthday to Will Eisner. So on one, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, Will Eisner. Happy birthday to you.
And now, in Hebrew, let it summer, young let it summer.
All right. Start lining up.